on City Line talking to Dick Gregory, and we'll be talking about his new diet, which is the Dick Gregory Slim Safe Bahamian Diet. We'll discuss that in detail, plus some other issues. But just before that break, you raised a very interesting question in terms of the number of folk who are starving and who are malnourished. And you ended up by asking, why are the American farmers on the brink of bankruptcy?
Yeah, you have 1/3 of all farmers is on the brink of bankruptcy. Another third is having problems. I just started asking for the research of the amount of suicides. I want to check that out. And I got one state came through the other day. In the state of Missouri in 1983, you had 47 suicides, farmers. In 1984, you had 60 suicides. That's just one state. So we see that farmers are having psychological problems because, you know, they know nothing else. From one generation to the next generation to the next generation.
Well, why are they on the brink of bankruptcy? Why is the country allowing this to happen? And even with the bailout, why isn't there a major bailout?
Because let's take an imaginary trip to a supermarket right now. Let's say this supermarket is 6 blocks long. And you can do it any supermarket. You walk in, if you walk in here to your left or to your right, you find the produce, the fresh vegetables. And if you go down the line, you find the frozen food, the orange juice, the dairy product. Mostly every supermarket, the meat is in the back. Okay, now once you get that out the way, row after row after row after row is plastic food. You know, Monsanto Chemical Company decides what we eat, not the farm.
What do you call plastic foods? The things that are
chemicals that's made from chemicals. I mean, if you look at corn chips with the barbecue. If you finish that, you could put makeup on with what you had left on your hands.
Is this a concerted effort then?
I think it is. Yeah, I don't think it's an accident at all. I think the people have gotten so far away from being duped into what they're eating that they very seldom eat anything fresh now.
So your whole plan and your whole life is devoted to nutrition and good health and the natural way of doing it.
That's the only way. Without that, you're going to end up with cancer and high blood pressure and sugar diabetes and the whole thing, and especially black folks with what we call soul food. There's not another garbage diet on the planet. That's just, but soul food can kill more black folks than the Ku Klux Klan. I mean, it's incredible.
And a lot of doctors attribute the percentage over whites and other races of high blood pressure to black men.
Well, it's that and stress. I mean, we're dealing with a white racist system, and I think one of the things that America's going to have to understand that white racist people and a white racist system is two different things. White racist people have never bothered me. It's a white racist system. I can make white racist people like me. I can make them change. You know, a white racist system, you know, have no God, have no conscience, have no heart, and that's where the problem is. And between the diet and that system, you find such a brutal rate, just a fantastic, inhuman rate. And then you got black folks that will never contribute to the diet. They say, well, sugar diabetes runs in my family. That's because you eat what your mother ate, she ate what her mother ate, she ate what her mother ate. So you got 7 generations, and when you knock that out, sugar diabetes will leave.
Okay, let's bring our studio audience in. Yes, sir, you have a question?
Yes, Mr. Gregory. I have high blood pressure also, and in hearing about your diet, I was having the question is, what would be a safe way to initiate a program of such to help me with my pressure?
Well, a safe way to initiate a program of such is first decide to lose weight, and then decide to cut back the greasy, starchy, you know, foods that we eat, and then take you some periods where you rest, where we deal with stress. One of the interesting things, and I don't say this at you, I say this at the American mentality. You asked a very compassionate question to me just now. But we don't ask questions like that if you're fixing to drink some whiskey, or if you're going to drink some beer. You ask nobody how you initiate, you just drink it. Anybody ever ask nobody no compassionate question when they snort coke? They just snort, you know. But when it comes to health, everybody say, go check with your doctor. You check with your doctor when you start smoking cigarettes? You check with your doctor when you drink beer? You check with your doctor. Sugar's the #3 killer on the planet. The #2 cause of white refined sugar. The #2 cause of cancer is salt. The #1 cause of cancer is red animal meat. And nobody checks with the doctor. If you did, the doctor probably eating all 3 of them. And so what I'm saying is first, listen to your body. That's very important. Listen to your body. Cut back the sugar. The bad part about it is most doctors we go to eat the same way that bad Americans eat and have the same problems. You know, I mean, when the last time you seen an old doctor? And one of the frightening things is the #1 suicide occupation in America is doctors. #2 drug addiction occupation is doctors. And so, something's wrong. Somewhere we've gotten way away from health and we got into medicine.
Do we need then to go to talk to nutritionists as opposed to doctors?
First, it's not that many nutritionists you could talk to, and people who call themselves nutritionists are the people that gone through the university and went through that same type of thing to be a nutritionist, to sit in the hospitals and put the whole menu together. What you really have to do is listen to yourself. You see, power is information. And bad power is bad information. And we, the American people, have more bad power than any nation on the planet because the information we have been perverted. We are really to sit here and believe that this brilliant nation didn't know 20 and 30 years ago that asbestos causes cancer? Okay. So one grade school and one high school after another had asbestos in it, but if you go out into the little rich neighborhoods, they didn't put asbestos in the schools, so somebody knew something. Okay. But you listen to yourself, and I think it's very important. Coffee is no good for you. Soda pop is no good for you. White refined anything is no good for you. And what you do is cut back. You stop taking it for, it's not nothing you have to stop doing for 12 years before you feel better. And one of the problems we have is we know cigarettes cause cancer. You cannot find a cigarette smoker on the planet, even the ones that smoke that's crazy, that would say smoking cigarettes is healthy.
Okay, we've asked our viewers to call in and talk with you, and there are many, many people who are just waiting to do that. Hi, you're live on City Line and in touch with Dick Gregory. Hello, go ahead, please. Caller, please go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, please go ahead and talk with Dick Gregory.
Mr. Gregory.
Yes. I hear you.
Yeah, you better turn off your cheek.
Gregory, what would happen, what is it that's happening when a person beginning with your diet has upset stomach?
Have an upset stomach? Well, I would probably have to know, what else you had. What's your eating habit have been?
Yes.
You might not be taking enough water. One of the things about that diet has so much fiber in it, and it kind of tricks you because you're looking at a powder, and when you mix it with juice, it turns into a liquid, and it's hard to believe how much fiber is in it. So that's why in the directions we suggest that along with taking it with juice, you take 10 to 12 glasses of water a day. And so that could be the reason, or it could just be knocking down other impurities in the system that would cause that. See, to clean out the body is the same thing as washing your clothes. There's a thing called an agitator. And without that agitator, you can't get it clean.
Tell us a little bit about the diet. Can you mix the powder with just about any type of juice?
You can mix anything. You can mix it with water. We suggest that, one wouldn't stay on it, just that alone, longer than 2 weeks, then you come back and you eat. But what I really suggest is people to use fruit, to go into an all-fruit diet. The 3 strongest animals in the jungle, the gorilla, the elephant, the rhinoceros, eats nothing but fruit. And if we get sick today and go to the hospital, your meat-eating friends is not going to send you a basket of steaks. They're not going to send you a basket of vegetables. They're going to send you a basket of fruit. So if fruit is that good for you after you get sick, think what would happen if we ate more while we were well. And so I really suggest that people that get into it eat as much fruit as you can. So
basically your plan purifies the body?
It purifies, cleanses the body out, yeah. And the way you cleanse the body, let me tell you what you could do. And it's kind of sad. You go through grade school, high school, and college, and you never told that 1 teaspoonful of bran 3 times a day, 1 teaspoonful of bran 3 times a day would eliminate 80% of everything we die from, known as death through diseases and sickness. Now, how can something that small be so important? Because the food we eat today is so over-processed.
But why is it that the government doesn't, these things are medical findings or scientific findings. Yeah. Why is it that the government ignores this sort of thing?
Why did the government ignore the mafia?
Until last week.
And last week, and the ones they arrested were so old, they'd be dead in 2 more days anyway.
Let's take another call before we go to a break. Hi, you're on City Line Live.
Yes, Mr. Gregory.
Yes.
I'm diabetic. Now, I'd like to know if your diet is safe for me.
Yes, it's very safe for you. And one of the things as being a diabetic, you have to be very careful about the amount of greasy food you eat, the amount of starchy foods you eat, and the amount of sweets, pastries and stuff you eat. But more than that, you have to be very, very careful about the stress. You have to find periods where you just stop and don't think about, not even thinking about nothing, and you see that level start changing.
Okay, we're going to continue our discussion. We'll be back in just a minute, so please stay with us and keep calling if you want to talk to Dick Gregory.